How's it going, guys? My name is TheSwollenGamer, and welcome back to Swollen Comments 21, baby. Let's do this. Hopefully, I can get this up for you guys tomorrow, which is Wednesday. If I can, and I want to start making this sort of a Wednesday series type of thing. The reason for that is, obviously, gaming is the core of my channel. But I also like doing non-gaming type stuff just in general that involve you guys. So I really want to make this a weekly thing, which is also why I'm going to be reigniting an old series of mine. Hold on to your horses, because Swollen Sunday's coming back. Alright, I need to calm the freak down. Also, I'm testing out a new setting on my camera for these full screen face cam type videos. This is being shot right now in 24p. It's supposed to make it look more professional. Let me know if you guys like the 60 FPS more. I know you're probably more used to that on my channel. So yeah, guys, I'm bringing back Swollen Sundays. 99.9% of you aren't even going to know what that even is, because I'm pretty sure the last one that I did was like 2014. My friend Oompaville has his own little segment on Sundays as well called Salty Sundays, and I thought it was a really great idea. By the way, he just hit 100,000 subscribers. That's freaking it's insane. Okay, go watch his videos. They're freaking awesome. So yeah, I'm copying him. Just kidding. I did used to do Swollen Sundays way back in like 2014. I did like a eating Australian candy video, for instance, and I have a couple of good ideas for it lined up. It's going to be like a weekly show that's not necessarily one thing, and basically what I want to categorize it as is a non-gaming, non-vlog, non-swollen comments video. So if it doesn't meet any of those criteria, it will be jam-packed into just one playlist called Swollen Sunday, and that will obviously come out on Sundays. Hopefully I can get my shit together and actually do that on a regular basis, but I'm gonna try it. I have a couple of ideas up my sleeve, like I said, but for this Sunday, I want to open up my Snapchat. Right now, you can't really send me snaps because I have it set to private. I want you guys to actually send me snaps and to do a Snapchat Q&A. I think that would be a cool way to start off Swollen Sundays for this Sunday. So add me on Snapchat. The logo and the name will be on the screen. Send me your questions and then I will answer them. But that's not all it's going to be either. It's going to be some other stuff as well. It'll be just like different things like reacting to old videos or doing fun things like the Wikipedia challenge I did, for instance. That would be considered a Swollen Sunday. So I've been rambling way too long. Just make sure you send them anywhere between now and we'll say Friday. I'll probably edit it on Friday. So just make sure your snaps are in before Friday. Without further ado, let's get started on the Swollen comments. Now that I've been recording for 7 minutes. Rifty says, boy, you look like a motherfucking sorry, I got carried away there. Last time I asked you guys what is like the weirdest scar that you have, and like the story about how you got it, or just what is your biggest fear? Brandon L says, I was rubbing my weenie in the shower when I was in the 3rd grade, and I haven't cut my nails in a while, so I rubbed it too hard and cut my weenie open, and now I have a big scar on my weenie. That guy says, when are you going to do a face review? If you're reading this, you're stupid. Swollen, if you're reading this, you have to put this in your next video. Fart Blossom says, the thing I'm most afraid of is my mirror. Louis Duffy 67 says, my biggest fear is legit just the dark. It terrifies me and I don't know why. Wikipedia says, my weirdest scar happened when I was 5. I fell down the stairs and landed right onto concrete. I had bruises everywhere and one small cut below my collarbone. Once it healed, I have a small scar right under my collarbone. Nothing much. Interesting. You were 5, you fell down the stairs, landed on the concrete. Why do you have concrete in the bottom of... Oh, it was outside stairs? It'd be kind of weird if you had concrete just sitting conveniently at the bottom of your steps. We're about to call children's services here. I actually broke mine. Fun fact. I think I was probably, what, 14? 15 at the time. It was high school. Horrible bone to break. It's just like you can't move your arm and it's like impossible to sleep. It's awful. Kugo the Mighty says, Random Chibi says, I got a scar on the back of my thigh from falling from a tree. I was swinging from a branch and got tired and stepped on the branch below me. 1 second later, the branch broke from under me and ripped the shit out of my leg. I waddled inside, tears streaming down my face and blood down my thigh, and I told my mom. She laughed and told me I'll be alright and wash it off. That shit hurt. Wikipedia says, my biggest fear is dolls. They are creepy. One night my cousin had a doll. It was about midnight. She said some rhyme and I was scared. She was 3, I was 6. I slept over her house to visit her parents. I ran around the house and my mom had to pick me up. For weeks, I had nightmares that dolls were sleeping next to me. Once I got so scared, I stayed up till 3 in the morning hiding in the bathroom. I opened the toilet in the bathroom and for some reason I swear I saw a doll's head in the reflection. I went over to the living room and turned the lights on. I fell asleep an hour later and woke up crying. I'm fine now. This fear was also caused by Chucky and the Bride Chucky, I think. I'm not sure if that is the exact name, but you get the point. F my life. Yeah, I mean, dolls are really creepy, but I don't have like a super big fear of them. Oh shit! Oh my god! Moldy Wolf says, well, I got a scar because my cat bit me, and I got one on my face because I ran into the bed in the dark when I was little. Yeah, one time when I was little, I had like a blanket on top of my head so I couldn't see where I was going. And I ran into like a table or something. So that was fantastic. By the way, I also have tons of scars like on my knees and stuff. It's pretty bad. I've been in more than a handful of bike wrecks. Versus Board says, well, I think this is gonna take a bit, so sit while I tell y'all this story. I have arachnophobia, and I developed this because when I was 11, there was a huge motherfucking spider on my neck. I think it was a black widow, but I'm not too sure. They killed it before I was able to get a good look at it. And I have a scar above my right knee, and I got it because, like an idiot that I was when I was 9, I was climbing the shack we had so I could go through the window because I was small and I wanted to go through the window, right? Well, before I made it through the window, my right foot slipped and I fell. But as I was falling, a nail that was sticking out gave me a gash wound about 4 inches long and 1 inch deep. I don't know how I'm not dead by that since a very important artery is right there. Now I'm insecure about it and forced to wear pants even if it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit, all because I was a fucking idiot. How about you, Swollen? Oh, 4 inches long and 1 inch deep. It was like that deep in your freaking leg, dude. Let's see, right above your right knee. Yeah, so like your femoral artery could have been punctured. Lizard says, I have a scar on my arm that came from my cat Milo. He had escaped from the house and I, not really thinking about the consequences, surprised him from behind while grabbing him. I practically jumped on him. He bit into my arm, upper and lower canine sinking into my skin. It didn't really hurt though. It actually looks kind of cool. Well, you know what? You gotta stay positive. Sam, mostly afraid of clowns. Goodbye, Ronald McDonald. Spiders, how original. Throwing up, really don't like it. And loop-de-loops on roller coasters. I'd take one look and I'm like, f that. I love roller coasters. I love loop-de-loop on roller coasters. I'm kind of a thrill seeker now, actually. I used to be really scared of roller coasters. Like, I wouldn't go on any. And then I just said, screw it, and went balls to the wall on like this giant one, the Dragster at Cedar Point. If you guys want to look it up, it's like basically a straight up and down 450 feet high or something like that, and it goes crazy fast. And I just went on that. That was like my first major roller coaster, and I've never been afraid ever since. Gotta overcome that fear. Cheddar Cheese says, I'm afraid of spiders and sometimes jump scares, depending on how sudden the jump scare is. But spiders, ugh! I hate them so much. One time my uncle put on a documentary of spiders and made me watch it, and it was insane. He said that there was flying ones. I was like, oh god. Yeah, guys, there's like these spiders that I don't know that they necessarily fly, but they like I think what they do is they whip their webs in the wind, and the wind catches their webs, so they're literally like Mary freaking Poppins floating around in the air and stuff in Australia. Insanity. I've seen a video and it looks like it's snowing, but it's actually precipitating spiders. John Miller says, I was scared of wasps. Also, when I was 5, I was scared of daisies for some reason. Only scars I have are mental scars from watching the video from the Forced Gender Reassignment by Cattle Decapitation. Wait, what? Great song, at least I think it is, but a horrifying video. I think the Saw movies, if they were a porno. What the what? Oh, I gotta see this now. Oh god, can I even put this on YouTube? Oh god, oh god, oh god, okay. Walnut Kittens 106 says, I have a scar on the side of my elbow. It kind of looks as if I cut it with a knife, but I just jumped out of a golf cart before it stopped. Nice. Those are the best stories. I will share my weirdest and probably most embarrassing scar after I read the rest of these here. Jay Farrell says, I have an irrational fear of wasp. I don't trust them because of the way they fly. Godknife says, I'm afraid that I'll never be in a Swollen Comments vid. Brittany Button says, okay, I'm scared of the girl from The Exorcist because around 4 years ago, my older cousin tricked me into playing the Scary Maze game, and then I asked why it was called Scary, and he said because there is a Halloween dance party at the end of the maze. I'm still scared now and I'm 13. Salamander says, I got a scar from slitting myself whenever I watch your videos. I carve your face into my skin. Notice me, senpai. Jedi Cow 64 says, I'm afraid of worms. Just worms. I don't fear death. I don't fear monsters, not ghosts, unless they're ghost children ghosts. Back on track, I am deathly afraid of worms. That is it. Bye. Interesting. Worms don't actually bother me too much. I guess it depends on the type of worm. Like earthworms, they're kind of cute. Actually, I don't mind them at all. Mr. What Mark 3DX says, my biggest fear is pulled out teeth. Whenever I see teeth going to come out, I try to pull it with my tongue. And whenever I try to pull it with my tongue, it came out blood only. Wait, what? I try to play around with the blood, but that's it. When I pull out the teeth, I scream, "Holy scissors!" Cheesy Game says, I'm fucking tired of spiders, and if you put one on the screen, I will end your life. Amazing Saga says, I am most afraid of watching your YouTube channel. JK, but I am scared of falling, and I got a scar that was on my leg from hopping onto a weird set of a bed frame. NJN Master says, there's only one thing in this world that terrifies me. It will haunt me for the rest of my life. Vertically filmed video! Dave Stibe says, I am most afraid of people whose names start with S. JK is the fear that I will someday slip into a coma and having my family and friends slowly give up on me until they pull the plug. Holy shit. That was probably the darkest comment I've read to date. Faith the Dill Pickle says, Scar. Got one on my left knee when I was riding down a steep T-shaped road on a longboard and tried to jump off to avoid being clotheslined by the chain at the end. This was on a crappy uneven road too. I was going way too fast and then I jumped off flipping on the road and tore my jeans and shirt everywhere and I was just bleeding everywhere. You can see a chunk of my flesh on the road. Only one visible scar though. Wow, that's insanity. Yeah, I got into a lot of bike wrecks one time when I was really little. I was like zooming down this hill. I still remember it somewhat till today. I was really small though. I got clotheslined by a tree. Except I actually got clotheslined. I didn't bail before, like you, which probably would have been the more intelligent thing to do. I remember walking home and just blood dripping all the way down my arm. I remember that for some reason. And there was blood everywhere else too. I think I had like 2 bloody knees. I think my other elbow was bleeding. It was just a blood festival. Jace Webb says, there was this one time when I was about 12 or so, me and my friend were messing around on the bus and my friend dared me to yell taco. And so when I did, the bus driver stomped on the brakes and we were sitting in the seat with the emergency window. My friend was just messing with the handle that takes out the window. He pulled the handle and the window blew inwards and it hit me and cut open my leg. And I love your vids. Thank you, Jace. That's insane, dude. Don't play with that, man. Just slap your friend in the face. Red Crazy Gamer says, I'm most afraid of clowns. Don't make fun of me. They creep me out with their stupid painted on smile, and I'm pretty sure most of the clowns are murderers trying to kidnap innocent children at a circus or fair. 5 Seconds of Julia says, I'm scared of people not reading / seeing my comments, so you better read my comment. Lego Stop Motion Production says, I'm scared from... your face! Amaria Doughty says, I was around 10, and where I used to live, we had a creek in the back of the house, and my mom had told me many times before not to go in. Well, being the person I am, I didn't listen. To get to the bottom, I had to hold on to roots and rocks sticking out of the ground. The rock I had been holding on to came out of the ground, and I slid to the bottom and scraped along the way. I had slid over one really sharp rock and left a scar on my forearm. Ghost Tactician says, I'm scared of ghosts. Monty Game says, spiders, bugs, being robbed, invertebrates. Also invertebrate. Also, why the f was my comment not included? We're not friends anymore. JK fam, you the best. Well, sorry, Bonte. Not everyone can be in every episode of Swollen Comments, unfortunately. Victor Phrase 03 says, my biggest fear is walking alone outside in the dark. A lot of people being scared of the dark in these comments. Primordial Gaming says, I have strange series of scars on my kneecaps. How or why they got there is unknown. Should I go to left or right? Should I go left or right? Left. Angel Charitzia. I'm just going to leave this on every comment I leave for you from now on. Thank you, do that please. I have 3 scars, but 2 interesting stories. When I was 2, my brother was playing video games with my cousin and banished me because he didn't want me intruding. My mom and my aunt were talking in the kitchen and I was left to do whatever I wanted. So my dumbass 2-year-old self wandered near some stairs and I fell down them. The stairs were those type that have metal on the edges, so it cut open my skin on my eyebrow. It's not very noticeable today, so I can get by without having to fill them with a pencil. I think that's actually kind of cool when people have like a line through there, like if it's like a scar or something. I think that looks kind of cool. My other scars from when my dumbass 7-year-old self was spinning around in a circle and I tried to jump in the pool. I did a 180 while jumping and it was too close to the edge, so my chin hit the concrete surrounding the pool. The skin burst and there was blood all on the pool. I got 8 stitches, and if you try hard enough, you can see the scar on my chin. Rip and rip. Charitzia, please don't kill yourself. Drunken Robot says, my biggest fear is seeing someone outside my window, particularly at night. I'm not sure exactly what about it terrifies me so much, but the thought of being in my room at night and seeing a face peering in is just horrific, especially because my room is on the 2nd floor. I'm unsure if it counts as a scar, but when I was a kid, I stabbed myself with a pen and I still have a blue dot on my leg. I was such a rebel, I tattooed myself. Awesome, Duncan. I did something similar, except More lethal. Mars Adames says, I'm weirdly afraid of mirrors in the dark. Like, I can't sleep with one in the same room unless it's covered and turned around, but I recently learned in China, or East Asia in general, people don't like mirrors in the dark either. So I don't feel like a weirdo, LMAO. Eric Sumner says, I got a scar on my toe from a door that had a metal piece on the bottom. I have no clue why, and it was slammed and it cut my toe open. It hurt. Turtail says, my biggest fear is... You can't just do that, dude. The Intense Pickle says, my sister beat my head against a pole and blood spurted everywhere. Now I have a scar and I have no fears that come to mind, which is strange, but if Swollen is reading this, and hi, I'm Melon Lover from Twitter. That is all the time I have for the Swollen comments. There was several I wasn't able to get to. So thank you so much for all your comments. The fact that we get so many now that I can't read them all is crazy, and I appreciate you. So don't give up. You know, if I didn't read your comment this time, just leave another one and hopefully I will read it in the next one. So for me, I ordered this knife, right, in terms of weird scars. It's like a curvy blade karambit, kind of like the thing you see in CSGO that's all like curved and stuff. I have a real one. I'll show you, hold on. Yes, this is it. One day, I decided to, it has like this little quick opening notch right there, if you can see that. And the idea is you're supposed to like hook it onto your pocket or just the edge of your pants in case of emergency situations. And so you can just pull the handle and then it flicks out like that, right? So I thought I would try to be cool. I was in the bathroom and I was about to, I forget what I was gonna do with it. I think I was gonna clean it maybe. I do it, right? Really fast. However, smart me was wearing gym shorts. So, you know, it's elastic. So it kind of dragged a little bit and didn't open properly like the way that I wanted it to. So it kind of was like delayed and I dragged it across my body. And then I just felt this like pinch. It was just a slight pinch. That's all I felt, right? This knife is retardedly sharp. I looked down. There's a hole through my shirt. I lift my shirt up. There's a hole through my shorts. And then I look, and there is this nasty gash, and I can see the fat underneath. I can see my fat coming out of my body. It was still superficial. I didn't hit any organs. I went to the doctor, got checked. I had to have stitches and everything. Actually, I'll try and show you maybe. See if I can do this here. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but that is my scar right there. Anyways, that happened. I like stumbled downstairs and I'm just like, Mom, I think I hurt myself. And that was that. And I actually had to lay down because I started getting lightheaded and everything. It was bleeding quite a bit. It's a good time. So that's my story, fam. So E3 just happened recently. In fact, it's still going on today. As of this recording, the press conference is going on. Let me know which games you're more hyped about, and I'll share my list. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to add me on Snapchat and to send me your questions that I will be answering for this Sunday's video when I restart Swollen Sundays back up. Like I said, I'll probably have my Snapchat open once this video is published. Subscribe today, join the Swollen family, and I will see your beautiful faces in the next one. Goodbye.